Okay, what's going on, everybody? My name is Mangg. Welcome back to Hanging with Mangg.
Good day. This one?
We are playing some
Here are the details.
Grand Blue
On your way.
Fantasy Relink. Very anime title, I would say. For a very anime game. And I kind of just picked this up on a whim because it sounded kind of cool. And it is pretty damn cool. It's an action JRPG featuring a cast of like 20 characters or something like that, playable characters. And a lot of action, essentially. And, a lot of RPG mechanics, leveling and skill trees, skills. Every character kind of plays differently. It's very intense. It's a fun game.
You've been lost to anger.
Bullshit. So it's sort of a mix of like a Tales game with like Monster Hunter with like Genshin, I guess. Oh god, I'm fucking up my butt. That took forever. Not very good.
What do you think?
Anyways, yeah, it's very good. It's very good. The boss battles, as you can see, kind of incorporate like MMO mechanics.
Quest complete. Let's get you open.
There's like, a lot of circles on the ground you gotta dodge out of and move out of the way, and the structure is sort of Monster Hunter-esque.
Right sword. Blessed is thy steel.
Have I played either Knights of the Old Republic game? I have played both. Okay, somehow that was an S++ performance. I don't know if I buy that. Yeah, I mean, I played both of them when they kind of came out, when they were fresh. I don't think I've ever really replayed them. I've tried to replay the second one, but it really just feels too dated
I'm sure Lyria will fall in love with this
for
beautiful
me.
city.
In a very specific way.
Need something?
Like, I'll go back and play like Baldur's Gate 2, no problem, or like Fallout 2, no problem. But yeah, Knights of the Old Republic 2, I don't know, that early 3D or like Xbox era 3D, I just, yeah.
Will you take this one? Be on your way.
So I was kind of interested that they were doing Knights of the Old Republic 3 or a remake or something. It's crazy that there isn't like just a full-blooded remaster.
Get
I
hot.
feel like the audio might be bad loud.
Keep on your toes. The ship's a sitting duck. Use one of the ether cannons on the deck and defend us.
Okay, I mean, this is a bit of gameplay.
One try. Phone on the sea. Swift as thought. Yes, nice fall. You got this.
I guess I should stay on the cannon if no one else is doing it.
Our reach is within me. Breathe like rain on the hill.
Anywho,
Spread your wings.
the story for this game is apparently pretty short, like not very lengthy experience. But what you're really buying it for is the end game, which is the more like Monster Hunter kind of experience of just doing quests and leveling up and getting better gear and skills, filling out your whole skill tree, stuff like that. And that's the part that's co-op. So Lego and I might be doing some of that on stream.
The butterfly like the dog. Wind in the fields. It's working. Looks like we've got a second.
You know, it's funny. I don't normally like really frenetic, fast action games like this. And I don't normally like being graded on my performance, but I don't know, this one's just kind of fun. So that's that. This week on this channel, you know, we finished Fire Emblem. It's all done. So I decided to start uploading Gloomhaven Crimson Scales, which, I mean, for people that like Gloomhaven TTS content, it's pretty good stuff, and there's going to be a lot of videos. So that's that. As for Warhammer Rogue Trader, yeah, I just did not feel any motivation to like keep playing, and I feel bad. Like I should like it more than I do, but it just didn't grab me the way that Pathfinder did. I mean, maybe, you know, I just went in with the wrong expectations. But to be fair, like I've tried other CRPGs since playing Wrath of the Righteous, and nothing really quite compares for me. Like, I tried playing Pillars of Eternity, and it was just like, oh god, where's the character customization? Where's the options? And Rogue Trader does have, I mean, a lot of like choices for character, but none of them are that exciting.
What do you think?
I don't know. I don't know what to say. I mean, I'm glad that I didn't go in and you know, go with a sponsorship or anything like that, because I just never know. I don't think it's a bad game or anything like that. Like, I don't think Pillars of Eternity is a bad game. It just didn't grab me.
That's one way down, but looks like there's still more of them. I'm not liking the look of this. but don't let it
So instead, I started, well, I did another Archipelago run solo of Chrono Trigger, Super Metroid, and Tunic. And that's all done. It's all been, I mean, I cranked that out because I really enjoy it. So that's all done.
How many of them are there? Don't let them swarm you!
And there'll probably be more Archipelago stuff in the future. Because if there isn't anything new to play that grabs me, there's always old games randomized. And they're, you know, always adding new stuff to Archipelago.
Stay with me.
Follow your call!
I've had better.
You got my mind is a steel trap!
So that's that. Gloomhaven will take quite a while to upload. That, I mean, that's like 30 videos or something like that. Hey now.
What do you think?
But the Archipelago run is 7 videos, so it's too long.
Shall we?
They shall fall! And Charlotta brings it home! As she also... And I think that's everything. You were...
Yeah, so that's that. And also on Two Brothers Play, you know, we're doing some more Archipelago. And that'll possibly pivot next Saturday to some Grand Blue. Or maybe something else. We'll see. That was a abysmal score. Jesus. Eventually, there'll be more best games of all time, but it's possible I'll just have to skip Devil May Cry just due to complete lack of willpower.
The fruit in the market
Good
looks
lord.
so good. Too bad it'll... Need something? Let's see.
Just to get over this hump and move on with our lives.
Will you take this one? We're counting on you. Have to wait for another day.
Yeah. Who knows when we'll find...
Over on the Exploring series, I put out the combined video of Tachyon Express, which is the last re-upload for January. Because tomorrow I'll be posting an audiobook of The Shunned House by Howard Phillips Lovecraft.
Beautiful.
Many things. I'll protect wind and the field.
Full bloom. Come and get it.
Armor break.
What do you think? Come join me.
Get down from there. I'm too short.
The clouds clear.
Foam on the sea.
You want more, don't you?
Crescent moon.
Yeah, I got something for you. Ugh.
Full bloom.
Ugh. Ugh.
Wind in the fields.
What do you think?
Not designed for aerial combat.
Full bloom.
Shall we rain on the hills? Witness my knife.
There you go. There you go.
Seems we'll have to do this the hard way. You're right. They've been lost to anger.
I was pissed. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. What were we talking about? I don't know. Talking about Grand Blue, that's for sure. There you go, there you go, there you go, there you go, there you go. Ah. Break, perfect. Oh, yeah. Harry. It's good damage. And now 5%. He gets pissy again. No, there's more bombs. No, don't destroy the bomb. There you go. Anywho, so that's that. You know, Lovecraft. It's Shunned House. It's probably not a story that a lot of people have read compared to, say, Dunwich Horror, Call of Cthulhu, but it is a solid little Lovecraft story. You know, somewhat in the vein of Gothic horror.
Don't mind if I do.
Yeah, I liked it. I liked it. So that's tomorrow, and then this week we'll be back to 40K complete. MVP. Oh yeah. I'll take that. Exploiter, weak point damage. And griffin feathers. Good. I need that. So, yeah, 40K. Let's see. We resumed making 40K videos 9 months ago. Overview of Primarchs. Yep. That came out April 17th. So that means we've got about 2 or 3 months before I was gonna evaluate where 40K is at and if it's worth continuing. So in 9 months, I made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 videos. Is that right? I mean, that seems so little. Yeah, what happened, I think, is that anytime I did like a multi-parter for SCP, 40K got bumped. But if we look at views here, overview of the Primarchs, that got 525,000. Cadia 137, Catan 136, Gilliman 141, Nurgle 107, Armaments of the Imperium 130, Lionel Johnson 75, Psychers 89, Overview of Imperial Worlds 102, Armaments of the Orcs 72, Zinch 86, Khorne 67, Adeptus Sororitas 47. So I feel like it's kind of been trending downwards. It has not been trending upwards. I think that's kind of clear. But neither has SCP. I mean, like, No Vacancy, that got 104. Sacrum Humanum Imperium, 149. Then, there was the whole thing with ABCs of Death, which averaged like 50, 60K views each video. I mean, it was a decently good project for me to do. The one before that, The Crew or Pool, 141. Dine of the Wolf, 128. KN and Havel, 163. I would say on average, then, a new SCP video is going to get like 40 to 50,000 more views than a new 40K video. ABCs of Death being a bit of an outlier there, just because some of these videos are like 7 minutes long, and I mean, it's almost a correlation, really, like length. The shortest video of that series has the least amount of views. What's the highest viewed of the series so far? K is for Keystone at 159. G is for Gesundheit. Yeah, G is for Gesundheit has the most. And that's an hour and 36. Followed by K is for Keystone, an hour and 51. So people tend to just click on the longest shit, and a lot of people ignore the short stuff. Which is funny, because then you always see comments being like, oh, why does every SCP have to be this epic novel length thing? What happened to just the short little, anomalies? It's like, well, look. People aren't interested in the short little anomalies. I mean, maybe there's an argument for the fact that it's a whole video you have to click on. Maybe you have to watch an ad first, the whole ordeal. Because the amount of ads on that 5-minute video, there's one at the start and one at the end. And I won't put one in the middle. Obviously, I can't even. So one at the start, one at the end, and then a 5-minute video. The amount of ads that I'll put in like an hour-long video is one at the start, one at the end, and one in the middle. So ads per minute really rockets downward the longer the video is. I used to be, I might throw in like 2 to 3 ads in the middle, but I've gotten lazy, and people don't like ads. So, So I don't know. The thing is, when I work on an SCP video, say I sit down and my week of work is to make, say, SCP-7545, The Dying of the Wolf. I would say most of that week is enjoyable. Like, it's a lot of it does not really feel like work. Because it's covering an SCP. It's a fairly simple process, and it's just kind of enjoyable. Now, there are SCPs that are, or SCP videos that are not as enjoyable if it's really long. But then if it's really long nowadays, I usually break it up to make it more enjoyable. Or if it's kind of complicated, like the group of interest videos are a bit more complicated, or covering a canon is a bit more complicated. And then, of course, editing I'm never going to find enjoyable, so that's always a bummer, but that's regardless. Yeah, SCP is just kind of simple, and it gets views. Whereas 40K is never simple. That's always kind of work. Yes, the topic, the theme, you know, the subject matter I'm covering is really cool stuff. Like, yeah, it is. I like 40K. But it's a lot of work. I have to compile a lot of different information. I'm not just like a living, breathing encyclopedia of Warhammer 40K. I'm far from it. So I have to just sit there and read and compile a lot of information to put it together. So that is more work. And it's for less views. So it's tough, man. It's really tough. I think there are probably things that I could do for the exploring series to get views that would be less work than SCP, or things that would be more work than SCP. It's a tricky thing. You know, I could just be like a creepy pasta channel or something, you know. I mean, that's, you could shit out a dozen of those a day. Like, easy stuff. If all you're doing is just reading. You know, audiobooks are pretty easy most of the time. But then, you know, doing like big projects, that's a shit ton of work. Like that Final Fantasy 14 video was just an absurd amount of work. So I don't know. You know, there was I had a thought of like
So good. Too bad it'll have to wait for another day.
Yeah.
doing video game stuff.
Who knows when we'll find the time to kick back and relax.
You know, with like Final Fantasy 14, and I would re-upload the Final Fantasy 6 and Chrono Trigger. And you know, the Chrono Trigger re-upload is at 84,000. That's a re-upload, and it got like double the views of the last 40K video. That's pretty good, but I can't do a Chrono Trigger video in 1 week. Or I can't do a video game video like that in 1 week. Whereas I can do a Warhammer 40K video in 1 week. So the thought that I was like spitballing was, and I'm sure I mentioned this, like 3 SCP videos a month and then 1 video game video a month. But I would have to be working on the video game thing the whole month, like regardless. It's just I would dedicate a week at the end of the month to myself to just finish up the whole video game thing. And that would potentially involve hiring an editor, because that is a big chunk of time, and I hate editing, especially that sort of editing where it's just cutting up video game clips to match what I'm talking about. There's not a whole lot of creativity there, I feel. So I'd probably want to hire some sort of editor. So, you know, if we cut out the editing, it's basically, can I play through a video game and record all the footage and write the script in the matter of a month? Probably. I mean, it depends on the game, of course. Modern games that are like 80 hours long or something like that gets a little trickier, but SNES RPGs, which are 20, 30 hours, it's not horrible. I was going to use January, you know, when I was all off, do Final Fantasy Tactics as like a test, just to see if I can play through that, write a script in a month. It's not quite a perfect test because I was off. It was not working. But it ended up that I just didn't really feel like playing Final Fantasy Tactics, so that kind of got that down. Maybe as a test project, I do just like Final Fantasy 1 and just show that off, because that's not a very lengthy game, not a very complex story, and it would just be like, here's potentially where I want this channel to go. Maybe. It's an idea. I guess the big question is, do I want to turn video games into my job? And that's questionable. I think probably plenty of people would like to turn their hobby into their job in some form, but I'm sure there's people that have and have regretted it. I definitely wouldn't like to be like a professional Twitch streamer or anything like that. I think that's horrible. But making video content on a somewhat relaxed schedule, maybe it's better. I don't know.
What if you got
The thing is, and I said this before, I don't feel like I'm filling any sort of niche with my 40K content the way that I am with my SCP content. And I kind of feel like I could fill a niche with video game content. I don't know if there's many people. I mean, definitely Final Fantasy 14. There's no one else that did what I did. I know that for a fact. I had a very unique presentation for it, and people really liked it. I mean, the views and comments definitely reflect that. I don't think there's anybody that's done, like, Chrono Trigger exactly the way that I did it. I mean, maybe there is out there something similar, but maybe not as, you know, I don't know. I don't think it's a popular thing for videos as far as other creators, but it just seemed like kind of a natural way to present the story. And there is some issues with it that you know, when I'm trying to just present it as a narrative, like with Final Fantasy VI, where I let Cid die. Most videos would explain the whole situation and be like, oh, well, you know, you can catch fish and you can save him, but if you don't catch enough or blah blah blah, he can die. And then, you know, they would just sort of present it as a video game and explain things, whereas I'm trying to present it as a book, as like a story that has happened, and there's no like illusion of choice in the narrative that I'm presenting. Like, for people that have never played the game and watched my video, it's as if Cid always dies, which is kind of an issue. But if you're not interested in playing the game and just interested in watching a video of the story, then, you know, whatever. I made decisions for that video that I think are of a better story. I think it's a better story if Cid dies. There could be arguments in the other direction, sure. But if Cid doesn't die, he's just like, oh, thank you, oh, you're the best, here's a raft, go and find your friends and be happy. And she's like, I'm so happy, I'm gonna go find my friends and be happier. Whereas if he dies, she like tries to kill herself. And then, you know, she gets a glimmer of hope in finding Locke's bandana wash up on the shore. Which is sure a bit of Deus Ex Machina, whatever, but I think it's a more interesting story. And that explanation that I just gave maybe would be of some benefit.
This city goes all the way to the island's edge.
Maybe, you know, I should put like
Easy to get around by airship.
little captions in certain spots to just signify like, hey, I made this decision here, but it could go the other way. I don't know. It's a learning process. I don't know. I don't know. Tricky times for the exploring series.
Yeah.
Anyways, that doesn't need to be decided today, I suppose.
For a limited time
We
only.
could do another quest or something.
Good day. Let's see. What do you say? Will you accept it?
So on Thursday we did the 4th session of our solo RPG, which brought the issue with the spores to a climax. I decided that I was finally going to solve that. Thanks to the money that we accumulated from going into that serial killer frog dungeon, we were able to buy a couple scrolls that
Weaklings! There are no heights we cannot scale.
were necessary for my plan.
What with the They just keep coming! But we'll show 'em who's boss!
But I really wanted to get paid big money for actually saving this entire city. So we had to go to the governor's office in the city. We snuck in because the city's under quarantine. But that was trivial thanks to my new spells. I can now teleport. I can now become a shadow. And I can also become invisible. And we went to the governor's office and spoke to basically a governor's aide that was there, saying that I potentially have a solution for the spores, and you know, I want to be hired.
I'm not liking the look of
Oh
this.
god, I just love how many enemies they put in this game, like in the fights. So good.
Come, Crimson Thorn! Come and get it.
Get my ass handed. Yep, get my ass handed.
The rose is not. Can't keep up.
And we sat down with the guy and we explained the whole plan. And, you know, I laid it all out from what I was going to do, which was essentially flying over to the spores, using a breathing spell to allow me to breathe clean air regardless. Scout out where the grave was, and then use a terraform spell to dig up the earth, or basically make the earth vanish where the grave is, so that I can just fly down and scoop up this gem, and then fly it out to the ocean and dump it off. And we made some rolls. I wasn't exactly sure how many rolls I should make to see if this guy likes the plan, is going to accept paying me, and blah, 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 and then how much to pay me. It was all kind of loosey-goosey, and I'm not sure. Because if I was playing with a DM, I'd have the same issue of, like, I don't know how much to ask for.
The fruit in the market
I'm
looks
saving a town of 30,000 people. I mean, do I base this
Hello.
on the town's, like, annual income? Or, you know,
Will you take
I
this
don't
one?
know.
Be on your way. And it'll have to wait for another day.
Who knows when we'll find it?
But I ended up asking and agreeing upon 8,500 silver, which is a decent amount of money. Like, you can open a few shops with that amount of money. Not like extravagant shops, but you know, like a few little bakeries, stuff like that. And then I set out and I went and did the plan. And I pretty much did it as I said, but with some rolls. And some other, you know, complications arose. Yeah, going in there, I wasn't sure, like, what the layout of the situation was going to be, where the grave was going to be exactly. I just kind of did it. Which is, I think, the fun part, is just seeing what happens and not exactly having a layout and everything planned out. Because as the pseudo DM, I could kind of plan out a whole area and what's exactly in there. But no, I mean, you gotta just roll on tables at the time. Oh, I fucked that up right good. Fuck it, just get your lumps in. So the only thing that I had decided ahead of time was essentially that the church is there, it's ruined in some way, and there are like fungal priests still hanging around the area. That was the only things I decided. So, getting there, you know, we started like rolling to see where the graves are and stuff like that. And yeah, we decided that there's a giant mushroom growing out of the center of the church that collapsed the roof in. And we decided the grave where this gem is right underneath this giant mushroom. Noticeably bigger mushroom than all the others. Great.
With pleasure.
Yeah, just bear witness. It's a ridiculous game.
I almost feel bad for them. Get him! Lightning eradication!
Yeah. So good. So anime. So, yeah, I mean, I couldn't see the ground because of all the spores inside the church, so I had to actually just fly down there to use the terraform spell, and that's when I spotted the fungal priests. And due to some unfortunate rolls on my part, I ended up being, like, immediately ambushed by two of them. But fortunately, they rolled poorly on their attacks, so I did not just instantly die. And since I need health to actually cast my spells, like my normal spells, damage is pretty dangerous for me. Pretty good. I'll take S+. Now we can unlock a new character.
The fruit in the market looks so good.
Show you the list of characters.
Not everyone.
I don't know if I'm going to use this new character, but
Who should we vote?
got this big burly demon man, punches people. Bear is. She's a popular one because, you know, armpits and stuff. So there's that. Lancelot. Yeah, pretty low on my choices there. Vayne. Percival with Flambert. The Lord of Flames. Siegfried. Cagliostro. She's learned how to achieve virtual immortality by regularly replacing her body with new vessels that suit her taste. Huh. That suit her taste, you say?
Wanna buy an airship? I can get you one wholesale.
Yodara, look at this little tiny dude. That's pretty funny. And they all have, like, pretty different ways of fighting. Like, different mechanics. Like, Charlotte, obviously, her main thing is that her normal attack, you can just keep spamming her normal attack, and she does, like, that infinite combo. Which is really, that's what, you know, pretty great. But then Narmaya, she has two stances that she kind of switches between. One's more of an AoE stance that she has to, like, hold down to do giant AoE attacks. And the other one's more like her single target DPS stance. And you have to do, like, specific button presses at the end of her combos in order to smoothly flow through the stances. Because that's, like, there you see, like, her normal charge time for her AoE, but if you combo off the other stance, the charge time is, like, half a second or something. Like, it's really fast. So you want to just flow between the two. I found it very difficult when I tried playing as her. I would say sort of a high skill ceiling. Or a high skill floor, I suppose. Zeta using some sort of weird spear weapon. And Vesaraga, giant scythe man. Pretty cool. And you see he's got like his own like combo, his own like meter there. I mean, they're all, yeah, it's pretty cool. And really, I mean, they could just keep adding more and more characters. And you can get all of these just for buying the game. It's not like Genshin. So I don't know. I guess let's go with Yodarha, because I find that he's so tiny. And he's got a, look at that facial hair, man.
Heard you've needed my blade.
So we...
Chum the waters, folks.
Press Y after an X combo for a fearsome finisher that can be chained into another combo. Chain combos will get shorter, meaning more chances to execute finisher. Triple Shroud mark whenever he completes a combo. They enhance the next skill used automatically. Yeah, it's sort of similar to the I got.
Reel him in. You're wide open. Smell you later. Reel him in. School like.
I fucked it up.
Smell you later. It's curtain for you. You're wide open. Played like a fiddle. Smell you later.
I don't know how many times I want to hear "smell you later."
Reel him in. It's curtain for you. Reel him in. You're wide open. Smell you later.
Yeah, then he just fucking chains it.
Reel him in.
That does seem like a lot of single target. Damn it.
Read like a book. Schooled like a fish. Played like a fiddle. Schooled like a fish.
Okay.
Played
Like
like a
automatically gets that parry counter ability.
Schooled like a fish. Read like a book. Try to keep up. Where you looking? How's about we end it? Bet you can't hit me.
Yeah, he's pretty badass, man. I don't know. Like Charlotta a lot, but he is pretty cool.
A warrior hones his art over years and years of battle. Ultimate Flash!
Alright, anyways. So then, yeah, so I'm surrounded by 4 of these fungal priests. But it's funny, like, how powerful I am now at level 2 with these spells. Because I went invisible, I backed up, and then I used the terraform scroll to make a big pit in the middle of the church.
I'm sure Lyria will fall in love.
And the fungal priests all fell into this pit 30 feet down, and 3 of them died. The last one was just kind of squirming there, so I killed him with my bow. The big mushroom that was there fell over. I don't know like how deep its roots would go or what the specific situation of that would be. Eventually you just gotta say like, all right, fuck it. Whatever. Unless someone's gonna speak up and say something, we're just going. So the mushroom fell over and I dodged it and it collapsed some wall. And then yeah, I went down, we found the big corpse just completely covered in mushrooms. And we made some more rolls, decisions, whatever, and the gem was in a satchel that he was buried with. Along with a couple other things that I didn't touch. And so I wrapped a rope around the satchel, carried it out of there, carried it over to the ocean, flew over there and dropped it in. Then I took a bath in the ocean quick, stripped out all my clothes. Went back to the slums, got a new change of clothes, waited a couple days. And went back and got paid. That was pretty much it. That was pretty much it. You know, it's going to take them a while to actually clear out the entire region of the spores. Especially because there are going to be, like, fungal creatures in there and stuff. But the immediate threat to their crops and their lives is over. So, yeah, I got paid. That's where we left off, where now I have to decide what I want to do with this large sum of money that I have. We could just, like, hire 100 dudes for a while. We could start opening up some shops. We could buy a boat. We could buy some sort of magical artifacts, if I had something very specific in mind. But we also don't have a present sort of plan of action, which is a thing with sandbox campaigns, I guess.
Don't worry, there are no wrong choices here.
We also got paid finally for delaying the merchant, the first quest I took. We finished that and got that payment. So I don't know. I mean, maybe next time we just like ask around for rumors and just try and accumulate some like story hooks, plot hooks, and then decide from there what I want to do, if any of them grab me. Otherwise, we could just open up a few shops in Guthwald and like just wait a few years. And that's what we do. You know, just accumulate funds.
Spruce up your home with some new color.
I don't know. The world's our oyster, that's for sure. But there is currently a war going on, you know, on the western front of Aeroth. The Empire of Nim is invading. So if I just pass by a few years, I mean, that's definitely going to develop. And I would say as a DM that right now, I mean, if nothing happens on the part of any player action, the Empire of Nim will slowly win. Unless something drastic happened. Like, the Golden Union does something drastic with magic. I don't know what they would do. I don't know what could happen. Probably, you know, I'd leave that to dice rolls or something if it came to that. But something could devastate. Perhaps both sides. I don't know.
Don't worry, there are no wrong.
But otherwise, the Empire of Nim will slowly just win. And the Union will kind of collapse.
Have a look around.
So I don't know. I imagine my character doesn't want that to happen, so I may have to get involved. But let me interject then to discuss my family's D&D campaign, or RPG campaign. We had a session on Friday where they did manage to slay the dragon, the Black Worm of Brandonsford. They kind of went in without any plan whatsoever. They had this, like, wine sap that they got from the fawns that could knock a creature out. Like, put it to sleep very quickly. So they had some of that. They didn't know how much they needed, but they hoped they had enough. And their big plan to, like, administer this to this sleeping dragon. You know, the first time they encounter the dragon, it's in its cave, it's sleeping. Like, perfect opportunity to do whatever the fuck they want. And their big plan was to send in one of their characters. Actually, no. 4 of them, I think, snuck in. Led by, essentially, their, like, fighter. Wearing heavy armor and a shield. And, you know, just, like, didn't even think of his metal stuff. So they all, 4 of them rolled to see if they were stealthy, and the 3 of them not wearing metal armor, you know, heavy armor, they all succeeded. But, you know, I told the fighter to roll with disadvantage. He's like, what? Disadvantage? What? What? He, of course, failed. And if, you know, group sneak. If one fails, you all fail. Some DMs are probably a little nicer with that, where they would just have the person with the... Well, really, it should be the person with the lowest sneak. So in any case, regardless, I mean, he's the one that had failed. So, of course, the dragon just woke up and they got into a big fight with him. And this dragon, I mean, is no fucking joke. They were level 1. And if I ran it as written, they would have been annihilated within a couple turns. He gets 3 attacks per turn. He gets like +8 to his rolls. And then he gets a breath weapon that does as much damage as he has remaining health. And he starts with 32 health and 18 AC. I mean, it's just like insane. They're not meant to just take this thing on like, you know, directly. So of course I nerfed the shit out of it, just so, you know, they have fun. And my mom used like her telekinesis spell once per day that she has to try and like telekinetically pour the wine sap into its mouth mid combat, which I can't even imagine is easy to do in the slightest. I should have given her disadvantage, but even without it, she rolled poorly, and then even then, I'm like, okay, well, some of it manages to get in, I guess. And it was really more just like a slight excuse for why I nerfed him so much. And then at one point, my aunt wanted to use like her whistle to try and distract the dragon to help out the others. And I'm like, okay, well, I mean, it's some creative thinking, I suppose. So I allowed it to work. But that meant that she was taking now the attacks. So she almost died. I did its breath weapon when it had 20 health left. But I did not roll. I did not use that as damage. I had them all roll saves. And normally it would be like half damage on a save, but I was just like, yeah, okay, they just avoid it. Whatever. And then the people that didn't save just took like 6 damage or something, you know, it's just, I don't know, like, ugh. And then to hit it, it's immune to all normal weapons. They did have the Holy Sword, which is good, but not that good. And then it says in the rules that if they want to attack like the mouth or the eyes where it's vulnerable, it's a -4 or -6 to their roll. And they have to hit an AC 18. So it's practically impossible. So yeah, many things were fudged, but I think they recognized that it was a very powerful foe. And I explained to them how they didn't exactly approach it cleverly. And I explained to them afterwards that I did nerf it because, yeah. And I'm not going to be doing any pre-written materials in the future, so I don't think that'll be as much of an issue. And they got a whole bunch of treasure afterwards, and I think they're planning on, like, buying horses with it, which is a fine enough plan. But then, yeah, after the session was over, I laid out my world map that I'm using for my solo campaign. So I want to use the same setting. And I'm putting it pretty much at the same time period. Like, you know, not that we're in the same campaign, but like 2 branching timelines here. And I put them on Aeroth. Not in the middle, like the civilized part, but like just on the fringes, like on the other side of the mountain range of the civilized part. So there's still wild things afoot here, but there's a good amount of towns and stuff. And yeah, I explained some parts of the setting to them, where they're at, and I mentioned that there's a war going on. They're, you know, being invaded on the West Coast right now. And then one of the spells that I gave them as a spell book that they have to carry with them is Question for God. So they can use it once per day to ask me any question they want, and I'll answer it to the best of my knowledge and ability. So it could be things about the plot, the setting, you know, certain characters, or it could be like, you know, what should we do here? Like, what's the best way to solve this? And I'll try and answer it as pretty much as if I was a player. So they've been enjoying having that spell. And so since the session was ending, they were like, okay. They asked where are they in the greatest need? You know, where's the place of the greatest need for help that they should go to? And I said, well, you know, honestly, there is a war front on the western coast. I mean, towns are being sort of destroyed, and plenty of people are being... I mean, that is certainly the center of strife on the planet right now. So they started discussing this, you know, going to the war front. And they're like, I don't think we're capable of helping in that in any way.
Mission complete.
And I'm like, well, you know. And I mentioned how in the solo game, I was level 1. I was, well, level 2 by myself. Solo character, and I managed to save this city of 30,000 people. So it just depends on how, you know, clever you are and good planning and stuff like that, which doesn't describe this group whatsoever. But they decided to sort of head in that direction and head to the nearest town in that direction and just kind of see what adventure they can get up to on the way over there. Which is a good enough plan as any. So, yeah, I mean, they're all really enjoying it. So, we'll see where it goes. Now that I'm not running a pre-written module. And I'm just going to spitball a lot of stuff. But since I know that they're going to be going to this town specifically, I can kind of plan things out, some things, some plot hooks, and actually have like a map of the town and, you know, stuff like that. Even if they change their mind completely, you know, then that information's always there.
Looking for that special load? Look no further.
So yeah, I mean, they're in the same setting as my solo game, but they're not in the same game. They're not using the same system. I'm using Knave for them and Heroes of Adventure for me. And that's not really an issue, except for the fact that magic works differently. In Heroes of Adventure, magic is innate. That's kind of a part of the setting. Humans have more magic than the Nimians. And, you know, that's sort of a fact. The Ministry of Magic is kind of based around the fact that magic is innate to certain people, but then there can also be one-use scrolls and stuff like that. Whereas Knave, magic pretty much is always in the form of spell books that you have to carry around. No one possesses any magical talent that they can just use abilities without spell books. But that means that anybody can pick up a spell book and use the spell. There's no classes or anything like that. I don't know how to sort of reconcile these two differences. Because I don't know if I want to just add like magical abilities innately to Knave, because then you have to kind of have classes.
Can't hurt just to look around.
I mean, I guess it's a simple enough. Like, honestly, if all you do is just like, okay, yes, you can have some spells that you don't have to have a spell book, and you can use once per day or what at your level per day. And if you don't want that, you can just gain a +1 to your attack rolls. And you just do that at every level up or something. I mean, that's a very tiny class system that they would probably be happy enough with, and that allows me to kind of reconcile it with this setting. Anyway, I've been talking long enough. I'm hungry. It's time for dinner. So we got Crimson Scales, Gloomhaven, TTS. We've got some Archipelago. We've got some Two Brothers Archipelago. We've got solo RPGs coming up again on Thursdays. That's around 6:30-ish CST for those that want to tune in. And on Exploring series, we have an audiobook of The Shunned House by Lovecraft. Okay. My name is Mangg. This has been Hanging with Mangg. I'll see you fine folks next week.